7. Storage and temperature control. Did you know that bacteria multiply every 10 minutes? Well, they do. Correct food storage and temperature control can help avoid multiplication of bacteria and food contamination risks altogether. You can control temperature in 2 ways. 1. You can destroy harmful bacteria or reduce their numbers by cooking or reheating. And 2. You can control their growth by keeping food hot or cold. Temperature control isn't really that difficult. Just follow these 5 rules. Operate refrigerators and chillers at 5 degrees centigrade or below. Keep freezers working at -18 degrees centigrade or below. Maintain cooking temperatures at 75 degrees centigrade or above throughout the product. Hot hold cook food at above 63 degrees centigrade. Make sure to use suitable hot display equipment. And reheat all food that has previously been heated to a temperature of 82 degrees centigrade or above. Do not reheat food more than once. Oh, one more thing. Never, ever store ready-to-eat foods for sale at room temperature for more than 90 minutes. Temperature probes and infrared thermometer guns are useful to make sure hot food is cooked well throughout and displayed safely. As you will learn later, food safety procedures based on HACCP require you to set critical limits for temperature controls. So if you decide that your refrigerators should operate at 5 degrees centigrade or below, this temperature should become the critical limit for refrigerated storage. You see, as a manager, you need to establish and enforce house rules for temperature control and storage, and also ensure that all equipment works correctly. So remember, no food lying around while staff are idly waiting for a better tomorrow, and no faulty cookers or hot food display units, or broken fridge freezers with thawing food in them. OK, here are some tips on storing food safely. Ready? Here we go. First of all, follow the manufacturer's instructions on storing foodstuffs. Basically, check the labels. Make sure your staff rotate stock regularly and remove products that are about to expire and safely dispose of any outdated stock. Easy, right? Next, keep allergen-free and allergenic foodstuffs separately in correctly labelled areas. Place chilled and frozen food in chillers and freezers as soon as it's delivered. Use separate fridges and freezers for raw and cooked foodstuffs. If you're using one fridge to store different food products, make sure you distribute them correctly, like this. Put ready-to-eat foodstuffs on the top shelf and raw meat separately in clean, sealed containers on the bottom shelf to avoid contamination from running juices. Keep fruit and veg separately in the bottom drawers. Keep frozen food in freezers. If leaving it for another day, keep ready-to-eat loose food wrapped or inside airtight containers in the fridge. Now, please pay attention. This is very important. You must determine your methods and the frequency of cold and hot temperature monitoring in your house rules. For example, staff should check all refrigerator, chiller, cold display and freezer temperatures at the start of their working day. Or, whilst roasting chickens, staff must test them with thermometer probes at regular intervals during the cooking process to ensure they get cooked throughout. No chickens were harmed during the recording of this audio. By the way, there's no need to record all monitoring, so don't ask your staff to write down every temperature check they make. Phew, that would be hard. However, you must decide on the appropriate level of record keeping that reflects your business activities. This is required for your HACCP plan. We'll talk about it later. Understandably, you need to carry out regular risk assessments and inspections to make sure your staff store food correctly and control temperatures while cooking it following the house rules. Simple, right? But that's not all. You must also have clear procedures in place for when things do go wrong. For example, what should be done with the food if a fridge freezer stopped working? Right. What if you find that your staff don't follow your temperature control house rules? Well, you must formally record the problem and the action you've taken to correct it. This will demonstrate that your HACCP-based system is working well. OK, to sum up, you must establish and write down the temperature control house rules and keep them up to date. They are an essential component of your HACCP-based system. You must train your staff and carry out regular inspections to make sure that the rules are being followed. You must implement corrective actions where required and keep documented records. Quite obvious, really. Let's move on.